Well, let's get more on this now. We can speak to Sakhr Al-Makhadhi, a British Arab journalist who joins me now in the studio. Good to see you again. Thank you for being with us. These elections, clearly boycotted by the opposition groups. I mean, the process just becomes a bit of a farce, doesn't it?
It does. And you know what? There's a facade around this that the regime has managed to put up in the cities of Damascus and Aleppo with bright election posters and election campaigning and tents. And it's got the feel of democracy, a feel of a vibrant political process. There are, for the first time, rival parties to the Ba'ath Party that could make it into parliament. There are independents standing in the election as well. But you know what? We're going to end up with a parliament that is very much in favour of the president, that is the kind of hand-clapping, flag-waving, poetry-reading parliament when the president comes in to speak to them. So we're not going to see any changes, I don't think. I think, you know, the most interesting thing that we heard in the last few days is that a list was apparently circulated on the internet of the winning candidates, and that was before the election had even been held. So nothing's going to change.
And let's talk about this, the line that Kofi Annan has said that, you know, if this latest peace plan doesn't work, Syria will cascade into civil war. I mean, nothing new there. We kind of knew that already. How close are we, though, to that edge, that fine knife point of civil war in Syria?
Well, the Annan peace plan has been derided by many different sides, by the opposition, by the Americans, by many in the international community at large. But I think the biggest success that he has managed to achieve is that the death toll has fallen from the hundreds, it's gone down into the dozens. Now obviously this isn't a peace plan, this isn't a ceasefire in total, but it has managed to achieve that at the very least.
But some would argue that that was perhaps a strategical point on the Assad regime's part, stop the violence while the monitors are in there and buy President Assad a bit more time, which is what he's been doing all along.
Exactly, you know, bring the violence down below a red line where, you know, the international community would get bored and go away. I think that's what they were hoping for. But the sectarian civil war potential, those fractures in society, they still exist, and they're being exacerbated by the fact that the violence is continuing and by the fact that there is no end to the regime.
But how close a prospect is that? The falling into civil war? I mean, is it very dramatic to talk on those lines, or is it more realistic?
At the moment, there isn't a civil war. I think it's difficult to portray it in those terms. At the moment, it's government repression. It's the army killing civilians. I think the fear is that if the government falls, then it will be all-out anarchy. Then it will be man on man, you know, fighting from alleyway to alleyway, from village to village, and that will really be the civil war. That's when people start taking revenge on each other.
We've run out of time. I just want to ask you really briefly, when do you think the situation will come to a head in Syria? Do you think it will?
I find it very difficult to believe that there is any move to bring it to a head. I think if the Annan peace plan fails, that's when we'll see things change.
Appreciate you joining us. Sakhr Al-Makhadhi, thank you so much.